the Jordan Gauss-Jordan elimination method. Then, as you can see, this is what we had before. And what is Jordan elimination method? Now, this is what we need to do. This is actually what we need to get into the final result. Okay, and just to correct you, what we will get here, it will be x, y, z. Okay, so let's get right into it, so then we can get to that form. So I'm going just to, let me just write it correctly. So what you see here, we're going to find a way to make these three zeros. Okay, so that's what we'll be doing. So our main objective to be to make this three equal to 0. So that's what we'll be doing. So, and remember that for us to get there, we're going to start by making this one 0. Okay, so we're going to focus first on row 2. This is row 2. So we're going to make row 2 colon 3 and focus it in a way to make it equal to 0. So that's what we're going to try. So our main objective is to make row 2 colon 3 equal to 0. Okay, so that's what we're going to try to do, and because of that we're going to change the equation for row 2. That's what we'll be doing now. Now what you see, it's just a, like we said, we're going to work and the easy way to make it is by working with only row 3 and row 2. The reason why we're doing that, because here we have some other numbers that we don't need to touch for now. It's gonna make it so complicated in order to solve for this. So we're going just to focus. You see, we only have 0, 1 down there. It's gonna be much easier to solve using row 2 and row 3. So this is what we have. Okay, now since our goal is to get row 2, so that's why you see I'm going to put row 2 here. So in order to make row 23 equal to 0, what can we do? If we know that, we can assume that this one is 2. So in what way can we make it equal to 0? So in what way we can make it equal to 0 if this is, since we're working with that row, so this is row 23 equal to 2. So I know we're going to remove something, and then since we're working with row 3, and then as you can see, what is row 3? It's actually 1. We know that row 3 equal to 1. So what can I do? 1 minus 2 is not going to give me 0. So for me to make it 0, I have to multiply it by 2. This is what I just did. So meaning, if I have to apply it to this, so it would be this row 2, which is we're going to replace it with just row 2, so it's gonna be negative, okay, and then row 3 times 2. Okay, this will give me something like this. So I'm going to multiply everything inside. So now let's continue. So this is what we have, negative, and remember that we said that way that you multiply, it's gonna be what we have there. Multiply everything inside that in the like this, and the same goes for this one. It's gonna be 2 negative times 0 times 1 times negative 1. This is what we're going to do. So it will give me negative 0 so which is going to remain positive, and this one will be negative 1, and this one will be negative 2, and then here negative negative to give me positive 2. 0 0 2 negative 2, and then if I have to add them together, so to give me 0 negative 1 0 and then 0. This is what I'll get into this row 2. This is the new row 2 I have. Okay, so now this is what we got. Okay, and there is one rule. As you can see, we do have a negative, we now have a negative sign here. So how to fix this? There is one rule that we all know from the previous video. In order to make row 2 column 2 equal to 1, what we can do is we can just take row 2 and make it negative times row 2. So multiply the all row 2 equal to multiply by negative. So we can take all of this times negative. That's why we're going to get here. Okay, and then this is what we're going to get, and then as you can see, just transform that negative 1 into 1. Now we are almost there, except for this 2 that we need to convert. Now there's this rule, we could only start with 1, so let's just go with this one first. Okay, 1 at a time. Now the question is, in what way we can make this row equal to 0? Okay, so what can we apply to row 1 in order to get to that row? Since we're working with row 1, I'm going to write here row 1, so it will be row 1. And as you can see, since this row is actually correct, I'm not gonna touch it for now. Okay, and I'll work straight with the third row. You can, depending on you, which one you want to use. I'm going just to make use of row 1 and row 2. Okay, and then as you can see, we have row 1 and then row 3. Bon, so according to this column, we're going to assume that row 1 equal to negative 3, and then row 3 equal to 1. And then in what way can we make this row equal to 0? Okay, so what we're going to do is, since there's a negative 3, 1 negative 3, it will give me 2. So what can I do? I can times it by 3, so it's gonna be 3 negative 3, it will give me 0. Since we already have a negative sign, so I'm gonna put a positive sign there. Okay, and this is what we're going to do, and then that's what we're going to apply to the complete row. Okay, so this is what we're going to do in order to get to our answer. Okay, all right, then let me continue. Then we will have to multiply 3 to this one. We're going to multiply positive. We use a different color, so we're going to apply a positive sign, sorry, and then on that other one we're going to multiply by negative 3. Okay, and then if I do my calculation correct, this one is gonna, it should be just 1 2 3 1. And then if I have to multiply by negative 3, it should be 0, 0, negative 3, negative 3 times negative 1, 3. Okay, and then if I have to add them together, so it will be 1, 2, 0, 2. Okay, and this is what I will get for this phase. Let me just correct it. So it's actually R1 multiplied by negative 3. R1 is positive, and R3 it's actually positive 3, not negative. So it's actually positive that we have here. So it will give me still 0, 0, and here I'm gonna get a positive sign. Then this side 3 times negative 1, negative. So and then the answer to this will be negative 2. That's what I'm gonna get there. Okay, let me go and place it into our equation. And this is what we just did. Now the next thing that we need to do, we need to find a way to make it equal to 0. Okay, row 1 column 2, how we can make this one equal to 0. That's what we need to do now. Okay, and then since we'll be modifying row 1, so it will be row 1, and remember to put row 1 there. And then we need to decide between row 2 and row. This time around I'll go with row 2. Okay, so now since we're waiting to solve for 8, 18, we can just 12. We can just assume that we're working based on row 12. And since I'm only working with row 2, so row 2, so I don't need this row anymore. So what is row 12? This is row 12. What's the value of row 12? It's actually 2. And then what is row 2? Row 22. It's actually row 22 that we're going to focus on. It's going to be 1. Now the question is, what can I do to make it 0? To make it equal 0? Okay, so we have 2 plus 1, which will give me 3. So that's why I'm going to put a negative. So 1, negative 2, negative 1. So I have to times it by 2. Okay, if I times it by 2, it will give me it will actually give me 0. Or otherwise I could since 2 is positive, I can leave it as positive, or maybe write it like this: negative R22 plus R2. Okay, let's just keep the first one so we can work out. So I'm going just to remove what I added. So now we're going to have something like this. So we have to multiply row 1 by negative, and then this one by 2, and then add them later on. So negative times 1, it will give me 1, negative 1, negative 2, 0, positive 2. Now 2 times 0, 0, 2 times 1, 2, 2 times 0, 0, 2 times 0, 0. Then this is what we're going to have, and put a plus sign. And then as you can see, the answer to this, which will be negative 1, 0, 0, 2. Okay, now you can see there is a problem. We are not able to solve this using this because there's a negative 1 there. So what do we do about it? So we can rewrite it. Okay, it's still gonna give us the same answer. So this time around, we need to turn R1 into positive, because R1 into negative, so then this one became -1. So we will use this formula instead. Negative rho 1 will be equal to negative, I'm going to multiply the equation by negative plus R1. So this is what I will do to fix the problem that we just faced now. So this is what I will do. I'm going just to maybe just copy, and then you will see the answer is going to change. You can actually, instead of doing all of this, you could just multiply everything by -1. But let me just, I wanted just to give you a solution quick. It was actually, if you use this formula, okay, if you use this formula, then 1 is going to be positive. But let's just go with this one. We will times negative the row 1 later on. So this is what we will get. Now we have a concern. How do we fix this one? And the answer is easy. We can just take row 1. So we're going to take row, in order to make this row equal to 1, so we can take row 1 times negative. So everything inside row 1 times negative. This is how we're going to solve this problem. Okay, and this is what happened when we multiply by negative row 1. Okay, and then this is what we get. And then, as you can see, we're going to this is what we have. It's -2, 0, -1. This is what we got for x, y, z. Okay, so when you use the Gaussian law, you can see that we are actually getting the same answer if I have to write it correctly. So it's gonna be it will be x equal to -2, y equal to 0, and z equal to -1. That's what you see we got here. So if you have to, let me just write them like this. If we can compare using Jordan Gaussian, you see what we got. This answer, they're the same as what we got from Gaussian method. So it's like -2, 0, -1. It's the same as what we got here. So in short, Gauss-Jordan method will give you the same answer as Gaussian method. If I go back, this is what we did for Gaussian method from the start. This was where we started. We converted this one into matrix, and then we apply each of these rules in order to convert them into this form. So this is Gaussian law. If I zoom in, this is actually Gaussian. We have transformed this and change everything here from this matrix to be as what you see there by applying those formulas that we use. Okay, as you can see, you can pause and then just refresh your mind, because we have done this before. And then after that, we took our final equation. You see what we got here in the final. That's what we took. We took those that part. We took this, and the answer that we have for Gaussian method, that's what you see here. It's actually the same. Okay, and from there we apply the Gauss-Jordan, and then the Gauss-Jordan, it's actually we transform. You see this block, since we only add something like this, the only thing to correct this was just to convert these 3 blocks into zeros. So that's why we did and then by applying this form, the formula that you see there, one after another, until we got to the answer. As you can see, so it was like solving to convert this one into 1. Okay, so that's what we did. And then to convert this one into 0, okay, and this one into 0, and then this one into +1. That's where we end up with this. So there you have it. This is in a way for you to compare the Gaussian method, and then to compare the Gauss-Jordan elimination method. You're still gonna get the same answer, as you can see. There we go.